How you doing? My name is Sean Wade Bracci. I'm gonna share a little introduction about me real fast. So when I was growing up, I was born in 1980. Don't laugh. I am an old person. Okay. I grew up in San Jose, California. That's where I was born. All right. And I was really active into sports. Used to play baseball, basketball, football, and soccer. I made All-State California many years, and even played minor pro. Played international ball, and then I kind of actually just faded away and joined the Army. Switch. So I know it's a funny picture, but when I was growing up, I had a kind of rough childhood. Growing up in Cali, I started getting involved in some bad groups with gangs, and my parents at the age of 14 years old, they released me to group homes, so I grew up kind of in the system all the way until I was at the age of 18. Go ahead, switch. As soon as around 17, 18, I was out, released from the group homes, and I moved to New York, and I spent the rest of my life in New York, other than one incident when I moved to London, but I'll share that with you guys. Go ahead, switch. So my parents, they kind of got their act together. At the time, they felt like they made a mistake by just releasing me to a group home. They were never active in my really growing up. So they became ministers, and they started a church in London, England. And they asked me if I wanted to come stay with them. I went and stayed with them for a couple months, realized I couldn't live with my parents. So I ended up meeting my first wife out there. And I was able to stay for 3 years. And I got a job out there, and I ended up playing international baseball out there. And eventually, things didn't work out with me and the missus, so my visa ended up getting expiring, so I ended up having to come back home. Go ahead. Moved back to New York, met my kid's mother there, and I had 2 beautiful kids, one in 2007, which is my daughter, and my son was born in 2009. They're a day apart on their birthdays, December 20th and December 19th. And was blessed with 2 beautiful kids. Switch. 2008, I ended up joining the Navy, was in the Navy for a couple months, went to boot camp, and realized I found a loophole, kind of legal action, but it was a loophole. Got out, switched over to the Army, had to go back to boot camp again. And I joined the Army in 2009. That's a picture of me in boot camp. I thought it was cool, holding up 2 rifles with, yeah, I thought it was cool. Switch. My first station was in Orangeburg, New York. That was me there with the private. He's another private, Cespedes. He's E6 now in the Army. Go ahead, switch. Then I got stationed in Vallejo, California. This is when the recession happened. This was in the reserves. Stationed in Vallejo. Ended up losing my job, and my current commander, he said, "Hey, why don't you go active duty? I can get you in there." I was like, "Okay." And that was at one of our engineer balls. As you can see, we all had drinks in our hands and stuff like that. All right, switch. Got stationed at Fort Polk. Switch. Met my beautiful wife. Switch. Deployed to the Middle East. That was an experience in itself. Switch. Got stationed in Hawaii. Switch. And now I'm here in beautiful Washington. All right. All right, switch. Thank you. Any questions?
That was fun.
All right. Any questions? What's up?
What was a major point in your life that made you decide to join the Army?
Well, I just had 2 kids. Or no, I had 1 kid. The same mother ended up getting pregnant, and I was like, dang, I already have 1 kid. I have no good job to hold down these kids, and I was like, during that time, I was still dabbling with the wrong crowd and stuff, and I was like, I need to grow up, and so I said, let me join the military, and been with the military ever since. So yeah. Any other questions?
How did you switch from the Navy to the Army in such a short time?
So what ended up happening is I messed up, and well, I didn't mess up purposely. I was lied to by my recruiter, and I told the Navy that I didn't have no kids, and I just had my new little girl at the time. And so what ended up happening is, at the moment of truth, I rose my hand because I was scared. You know, I was like everybody else. We were all privates, and I said, "Hey, I ended up lying." And they're like, "About what?" And I was like, "I do have a undocumented child." And they're like, "What?" So they pulled me aside. They said I could either deal with it there and do a family care plan. But at that time, I didn't know what a family care plan was. I thought it was me signing custody rights of my child away, which, as a private, once again, you don't know. You're scared to ask questions, you know. So they said you can either deal with it now or get out, and deal with it and then come back in. I said I'll get out and deal with it. And then once I left, I said, you know what, I'm going straight into the Army recruiter office because it wasn't physical enough, the Navy, for me. So I ended up joining the Army. Any other questions? Well, that includes my little introductory of me, and I know you guys already know me, but you got to know me a little bit more and look at some funny pictures. All right, thank you very much.